Hi guys, I'm just waiting for everybody to jump on, but we are doing another e-commerce live. Sorry about last week. I have been very busy with the project, so I'm gonna let it go. But we're back. Hey Danielle. Hi guys. So I'm just waiting for the other ladies to join. Oh, there we go. Now I'm trying to add folk. No. Olwethu has just jumped on, so hopefully she will accept my request. Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I hope you can
I'm
see me
good.
clearly.
I can. I think we're just waiting for Jess. But
Okay.
yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just so tired with this project because we
I know you're
launch next week.
busy. Oh my goodness, you're so busy.
Killing me. Hold on. Okay, there's Jess. I'm just bring her into the loop. This is the first time I'm doing a three-way
That's
type thing on Instagram. So
the first time I'm on an Instagram live actually.
really? Oh
Yeah,
yay.
I've never done one. Yeah. Hi, Jess.
Hello guys. How are you?
Hey.
Good. Thank you so much for joining, guys.
Thank you for
Thank you
I'm
for
having
just
me.
having
making
us.
sure everybody is on and wave at a few people. Okay. So for those that are just joining, I'm doing one of my IG lives on a Tuesday again, everything e-commerce. And today we have Jessica Campbell as well as Olwethu, and two ladies that I find absolutely phenomenal in the e-commerce space. So we're going to chat a little bit about their businesses and just like, again, a few trends and tips and tricks for you guys getting into the space. So I'm going to hand the floor over to Jason Olwethu, and you guys can obviously just introduce your businesses and yourselves, because obviously I don't want to get this wrong. So yeah, Jess, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I own Epiphany, which is a local brand directory, and we really focus on local luxury products all across the local markets, specifically female brands, just because I'm a female and I know how hard it is in the industry to be a local girl boss, and especially as a mum or somebody who wants to become independent. My parents got divorced when I was younger, so it's important for me as a woman to be independent, which is why I like to help females become independent. And so I kind of focus on that sort of section of the market. And the directory really just is a showcase of these local brands that I love and use and shop and like to share with my audience.
Great. For those of you, I will tag it in this, in the IG live later, but I will tag Shop Epiphany, beautifully curated feed, sorry, by Jess. So please do follow and obviously just have a look at the brand directory. Always, you're next.
Hi, everyone. So I'm the founder of Lulibomarket, which is an online marketplace platform that connects shoppers across the country with locally sourced Black-owned products and services. We also offer a collaborative space for entrepreneurs to collaborate on projects and work together and find each other and find customers and clients. So yeah, it's a one-stop shop. And like Jess mentioned, I am very passionate about Black businesses and just inspiring more and more people to shop Black and to choose purposeful consumerism. And just to make better spending decisions. So yeah, that's basically what we are.
I actually love this because it's so fitting that we're actually ending off Women's Month with two
Yes.
amazing powerhouses. So yes, and
True.
guys, always support women in business. It's such an industry that really needs your support. But
Mm.
yeah, like let's chat about like obviously women in this sense, wanting to get into the space. What are some of the benefits of using your platforms or directories like yours, essentially? Jess, do you want to
You
go
know
first?
what? I think, yeah, so I think first I want to kind of debunk this misconception a lot of entrepreneurs have, where they're established and have their own websites and they don't find value in listing products on, platforms like this. There's so much value in it. You're leveraging essentially communities of communities. You're leveraging our resources. You're leveraging the communities and the target markets of other vendors and sellers. Someone might be looking for earrings and bump into your hair care products, things like that. It's also cheaper. It's a cheaper way of getting out there and having an online presence. You don't have to worry about, web development and hosting fees and all these other, tech infrastructure things. You really just are getting an online marketplace. You're setting up cheaper, risk-free. There are really like a lot of benefits, honestly.
I love that. For those of you that are just joining, I am interviewing Jessica Campbell from Epiphany, the account being Shop Epiphany, which is a brand directory for luxury local goods, and then Olwethu, who is the CEO and founder of the Lulibomarket, which is a marketplace that also specializes in selling local goods, both in the women empowerment space. Sorry. So Jess, over to you. What are some of the benefits people can obviously get from, listing with your directory or advertising with your directory?
Well, I think Olwethu summed it up really beautifully, but just to add to that, I really like to have a personal approach to my directory specifically, and it's very much a community. I encourage every brand that is listed with us to communicate with each other, to use each other as resources, to chat about things as little as careers and what they do on a daily basis, or just becoming a friend as well. A woman in business, especially if you're working from home, can be really lonely, and it's so important to have that community to bounce things off. The last thing you want is your partner coming home and all you talk about is your business all day, every single day. So you don't want your business to be all consuming. It's really important to have a community around you that can support you, engage with you on social media, push your marketing levels up. And then apart from that, like Olwethu said, we offer one platform where we obviously draw customers in and offer a space where somebody might be looking for earrings or apparel and they stumble across your kids brand or your home brand. So that's a much more high level benefit of being on a directory. But for me, it really is just the personal community. For me, it's not always about the followers. It's not always about the sales. It's also about really just getting stuck in. Also, as directory leaders, we know the trends. We see what people are shopping. We see what's happening on social media. We make sure that we're up to date with what's going on Instagram. And so we're the perfect person to come to and ask for advice. And if you are one of my brands, you know that I'm going to be giving you the advice that you need. So it's always important to be in places like this where you can access free resources. Free. I mean, you don't have to pay every single time you need something. You're already in this community of people that is here to help you, wants to help you, and is passionate about your brand.
I love that. And yourself, Olwethu? Sorry.
No, I was going to say another thing people need to remember is that customers are always looking for convenience these days, and having a one-stop shop where people can buy everything from their hair care to beauty, things like that. It really helps a lot, and you'll see that there's obviously a trend where people are gravitating towards online marketplaces to even do their own shopping, because you don't want to be shopping at 10 different stores for 10 different products, incurring 10 different delivery fees. So really looking at the trends and how customers are shopping and what they're looking for and the type of convenience you can offer as well, listing your products on platforms like these.
That's actually great. And, I love what you actually mentioned earlier on, Olwethu. It's actually about, increasing your distribution at the end of the day. Being stuck on just your own platform alone isn't enough. The amount of marketing or just ad spend you'd spend just trying to direct traffic to one channel can become so costly, where you've already had, in your case, have platforms where you've kind of nurtured your community already. So it's essentially like warm leads for them at the end of the day. So
and it takes you months away. Yeah, and it takes your mind away from like the creative things. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, you want to build, you want to grow your business, you want to be creative. You don't want to be thinking of logistics and formulas and financial things. You know, you want to really create. And this, you know, having a shop, you know, like Shop Epiphany, where someone's actually curating content for you and creating content for you, that's like, it really helps a lot as an entrepreneur.
100%. I know for some of you that don't know, I still have Coco collection, so I'm trying to get onto Lulibomarket now. And I know one of the packages includes, you know, having, you know, images taken of your products. And I'm like, yes, please. Because I know as much as I can be, you know, in the strategy space and knowing how to sell, I am not the world's best photographer. Like, I'm really not. And unfortunately, and fortunately and unfortunately, obviously, really good imagery and videos really sell your product at the end of the day. That's what's going to, you know, make or break the sale at the end of the day. So
Definitely.
going into that, and I know you guys were obviously mentioning that you guys are on the pulse and you kind of have, you know, kind of have your wits about what trends are happening at the moment. So obviously I know with the States, they always jump into the Christmas or holiday shopping trend quite early and are like already prompting us on Etsy. And obviously from our side, I know a lot of us only get to our shopping a lot later in the year. But for those that are maybe trying just to find, you know, something unique this time around, what top 3 tips could you recommend should they implement or have in place to optimize sales? And this is just from a seller's point of view.
Olwethu, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm gonna go with the tech side first and say, if you are someone who has a platform already and a website, optimizing that platform to drive the traffic. And there are ways to do that with SEO and making sure that there are keywords that you're including in your product descriptions, for instance, making sure that you pop up when people search for Christmas gifts. You might have to go back to your website and go to the back end and start kind of including those keywords and making sure that your content is geared towards Christmas. So that's one way of doing things. Secondly, I would say utilizing the features and tools that exist on social media platforms that you're using. So for instance, if you are using Instagram, making sure that your Instagram shop is set up so that whenever you're advertising something, people can easily access that and buy it. There was actually an Instagram page I saw last year where they had even their highlight covers on their Instagram were festive during Christmas time. I think, you know, things like that are more creative, where you're going on to that website and you know, the content or the colors or things like that, it's a little bit more festive and reminds you of Christmas. Blogging, email marketing, there's so many things. I think just making sure that your content is really pushing that. If you have an email list, start emailing people gift ideas, things like that. Have, you know, blog posts about the different types of gifts you can give to your husband, your wife, things like that. What else? Christmas vouchers, things like that, offering discounts and vouchers. There's so many things, but also start now. Like Cleo said, in the States, they kind of start really early with Christmas. Start as soon as possible if you can. Start, you know, training up that content and making sure that people are noticing your brand and kind of associate your brand with gifting as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yourself, Jess?
I have a slightly different perspective. If someone put something Christmas in front of my face right now, I think I would literally just throw it back at them. I feel like we spent the whole year going from Valentine's Day to Easter to this, that, to Women's Day to, I feel like every month there's an occasion and people get tired of it. So for me, I would definitely not do the Christmas thing just yet. I agree with Olwethu in terms of your SEO. I think you have to have your SEO set up correctly. You have to make sure that if people are searching for gifts, they're searching for anything to do with Christmas, make sure on the back end where people can't see it, that it's set up correctly and that, you know, the tags are coming up so that people that are searching for it are kind of able to find it on your website. But for me, what you can do at this time of the year in kind of September, you know, the season's warming up, you can kind of just start introducing the idea of holidays coming up, the beach, like Olwethu said, you know, get the idea in people's minds that your store has the opportunity to sell gifted products. And then also there's this thing about personal connection, which is so important and which is why we have influencers and influencer marketing. And it's about creating a connection with your consumers and really finding out what your consumers want to buy. So start doing questionnaires in your stories, this or that questions. What do you like to see from my brand? Do you like to see style edits? Do you like to see more about how to use our products? Do you like to see recipes? Do you like to see how to wear our garments? Try to find out from your audience what they like to see. And when you find out what they like to see, you will be able to kind of get a better idea of what your audience wants. And if you have a better idea about what they want, you'll be able to create styles or products that they will want to buy and they will want to gift to consumers. And I think if you start that as early as you start that in the year, especially now going into summer, you're going to have a better idea going into the Christmas season of what your audience wants. And also you're going to be top of mind for your audience because they're going to think about you when they're shopping, about your reels, about your this or that, about you're going to be one of the brands that's top of mind for them. So for me, it's all about just creating that brand loyalty, being top of mind, and just that repetitive kind of marketing, but in a very personal, authentic way.
I love that. And that's actually some really good sage advice because I know just from my side, doing the this or that, or, asking them to kind of fill in little question bubbles, it also, not only from a market research side, but you end up spending less on creating products and, kind of exploring unnecessarily when your target market or your current audience actually wants a specific product. And I just feel like then you can actually shift your budget or essentially your cash flow towards something that's actually going to bring in more sales for you. But still around the holidays, what is your take on Black Friday in South Africa? Because I know that's coming up in November, obviously before Christmas, and it's a very touchy topic.
Very touchy.
Jess, do you want to?
So, I swear back and forth about Black Friday every year. I kind of don't know what to think about it. But Black Friday is basically becoming something that we have to deal with like every other holiday occasion, public holiday. It's here. You're either going to be the brand that says, we do not do Black Friday because of this reason, that reason, this reason. We're anti-Black Friday. But just remember that if you are going to sell yourself as that brand and then do Black Friday somewhere down the line, make sure that you're not going against your own ethical morals that you've kind of like stood for in the past. So make sure that you just have a grasp on what you really believe about Black Friday when you come into the market as a new brand. A lot of people don't want to discount their products, and so they'll say, we don't do Black Friday because of this, and we don't believe in whatever, and we pay CMTs to produce our goods, and so we don't like to discount their salaries or whatever the case may be. They make up a whole spiel, but it's actually a marketing tactic to say they don't want to do Black Friday. The fact of the matter is, when November comes, people are looking for sales. They're going to be doing a lot of their Christmas shopping. If you want people to shop from your store, unfortunately, Black Friday is a real thing and you have to participate, in my opinion. It's a very, very sad reality. But having owned a boutique myself and having worked with a local brand that kind of went through the Black Friday rigmarole, I just saw that people unfortunately care more about the discount than they care about giving back, or they care about supporting local or buying linen wear that's going to last them for years, or buying eco-conscious kind of vibes. They want the discount. They would rather save money. And unfortunately, with being in the kind of market that we're in, the economy that we're in, people are also watching their back pockets. So as a local brand, what I would recommend is doing Black Friday, but do it in a different way. If you can't afford to give like ridiculous discounts like everybody else, do a smaller discount, or do a discount on a specific range that you kind of like get off your stock shelf. Just target it, think cleverly about how you're going to do it. But I wouldn't say write it off completely. I think it is a reality. We have to be involved, and unfortunately, it's the fact of the position that we're in South Africa now. We've taken on this American kind of idea, and now everyone's kind of jumped on board. And I mean, everybody shops Black Friday now. Everybody waits for Black Friday, and a lot of Christmas shopping is unfortunately done in November. So yeah, that's just my perspective.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that a lot of brands might not be able to do Black Friday this year, and especially with, you know, everything that's happened the past year and a half. I don't really blame brands who, you know, sit this one out, because discounts, they cost money on the entrepreneur. They cost money for the business. It's a tricky one. I think that as a business, it really sucks that certain holidays and certain occasions have to be capitalized, and you can't really avoid that. If you want to do it, I think, like Jess said, I would say maybe try doing it on a specific range and not on every single product. People are going to shop regardless of whether you offer Black Friday sales on your platform. They're going to shop, and they're probably going to shop big businesses in any case. If you're a small business, I would personally say sit it out. It's going to pass. It's literally a weekend. But if you are trying to kind of gain a bit more traction, then yeah. It's a tricky one, because really the money might not be worth it for your business specifically, but people are going to shop regardless. And most of the time people are shopping big businesses. They're trying to get big items like electronics and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
Can I add to this?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
No,
so obviously with a lot of my brands that I work with, I know one of them, she had quite a few big discounts on Black Friday on all her products. And it was one of her highest sale days in terms of turnover. And sometimes you also have to think, yes, okay, you know, I can't give a huge discount, but if you sell 5 products at 10% off as opposed to 0 products, you're still making money, which is something that we have to consider in business. And so it is a business marketing tool. And that's why I've said, like, you really do need to think about Black Friday as an opportunity rather than something that, you know, is going to affect your business. I personally think take advantage of the situation. You don't have to make a loss on it, but rather make a sale at 10% off than not make any sales for the month at all. And secondly, you can also do things like, say, a Black Friday giveaway. The first 10 shoppers will get a free for Black Friday, the first 10 shoppers will get a free serum or whatever. What is your opportunity cost for actually being involved in Black Friday, and how much money can you potentially make? Because I think that Black Friday has been designed specifically to make money, and there must be a reason why people do it. So if all the big stores are doing it and making money, the small stores can do it too. And I wouldn't sit this one out.
no, and I like that, and I actually agree, because I was actually just going to comment on that. You know, participating in a Black Friday, make sure, you know, obviously your costings, your margins, make sure you can actually afford to do it. Because I know often, you know, we want to get caught up in the hype and we want the sale, but often enough it creates, how to say, it's more damaging than it is an advantage at the end of the day. So yeah, I like that. Thank you so much.
You know, Kia, something else you have to consider is that this is one of the reasons why your price point has to be correct from the get-go. And it's something that's so important, you know, when you start your business, is to make sure that your price point is correct so that you can offer discounts or you can move a new stock without making too much of a loss. Yeah. But besides that, I've just completely lost my train of thought.
I'm trying to, let me see. Does it have to do with margins or discounts or, you know, the cost of the product? No? Okay.
Oh, no, what I was going to, sorry, it came back to me. What I was going to say is that if somebody buys your product on sale that wouldn't have maybe bought it at full price, potentially they could buy into your brand as a whole and use the brand for the rest of their life. So there's so many aspects to marketing other than just, you know, offering that one discount. For me, that's why, like, being on the directory, a lot of people come onto the directory and they say, you know, I don't think I've had enough sales to warrant being on the directory. And to those people, that's completely fine. And I understand that you want to see value for your money in numbers. But the directory is so much more than that. It is so much more than followers. It's so much more than actual physical sales. It's about bringing a community together. It's about creating brand loyalty. And it's about, you know, getting people to get to know your brand over a long period of time. If you're on the directory for a year, someone might only buy from you 6 months down the line. But once you've actually got that customer, then that's your customer for life. And that is huge. And once someone has bought into your brand, they are going to speak positively about your brand to other people. So for me, that is worth more than one little 10% discount on one day of the year. That's just like how I see it.
No, and I see is it Miss Lee? Yes, she agrees. She's like, I agree. You may lose the profit that month, but gain the customer for a lifetime. So yeah. Olwethu, do you have anything else to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I think Jess mentioned this a bit earlier, but I think it really is important when you start a business and kind of factoring these days and these holidays in the beginning, when you're creating your brand strategy, when you're creating the financial strategy of your business, making sure that from the beginning your price points are at a point where if you are, for instance, selling something 1 month at a 10%, you're not losing out on a bunch of different things. And that goes into, the foundation of the business at, right at the beginning. So I do agree on that. Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you for that, guys. I know we kind of went a little left
Sorry.
with Black Friday. No, it's fine. No, it's perfect. Like, no, we need to have these chats. But I was just like, I know my question was two-pronged, so I'm just going to bring it back to the initial question. And then we'll go from there. No. So obviously we spoke about, the holidays and all of that. And again, with trends. So from your side, what top 3 trending products have you seen on the rise or more people are selling? Obviously going into this period now maybe to consider.
I think in the past year and a half, I think a lot of homeware things were trending. The more people are at home, the more they're inclined to try and, spruce up their home environment and create a little bit of ambiance. So a lot of homeware and specifically, office things as well. So things that are making your workstation and your workspace more comfortable, but generally homeware has been on an upward trend. There's always going to be buyers for beauty and skincare and that kind of industry. So that is always trending. And I think that South Africans are picking up on that and are kind of jumping on that trend right now. So for me, I think homeware, skincare, I think we might start seeing more into like electronics in a couple of, I don't know, but it's more overseas. That's trending more overseas. But in South Africa, definitely homeware and beauty and skincare.
Great. And Jess?
Mine, I saw this question from a slightly different perspective. For me, I definitely think that in South Africa, people are becoming a lot more locally and consumer conscious. So I think that a lot more consumers are trying to shop local, which is why Epiphany has been so successful, and also trying to buy kind of slower made products, eco-friendly products. There's been an amazing immersion of local skincare brands using essential pure ingredients as well as home care brands. And that a lot of those have been started while people were in lockdown or if they lost their job and they realized kind of what they were using on their face or using in their home without the rush that was going on a daily basis. So I just think a move towards more eco, slow, conscious consumerism as a whole. Also with textiles, you can see a lot of the big brands, Cotton On, Zara, H&M, everybody from the top right down to the smaller brands are all really focused on kind of using textiles that are more friendly towards the environment, linen, cotton, recycled materials. So I think as a whole, the conscious consumer is definitely starting to push through and push forward here. And if your product is kind of that kind of focus, I think that's what we can see emerging a lot and kind of moving forward as a trend.
I love that. Sorry, there's one question here, or not a question, I think it's more of a statement from Saul. They're saying, as a small business owner...
Sophie.
Is it Sophie? Hi, Sophie. One thing that definitely helps is to stop comparing yourself to large corporations or fast fashion, etc. Some customers, will appreciate the more personal slash quality aspects. Oh, and they will become your ideal audience. Thank you, Sophie. Sorry, my screen is just so weird. I'm just like, why can't I read? But yeah, no, definitely.
100%.
And now that I'm like obviously on this topic of, we're talking about shopping local and all of that. I mean, we recently touched on how big the e-commerce industry is obviously in South Africa, especially, and how it's grown over the last year. And, I almost want to say those that are getting into the e-commerce space can obviously find more and more benefit, not only again having their own website, but again, getting into a directory or onto a marketplace. So I think from my side, I think my question all surrounds, your one golden tip that you can give for those getting into e-commerce at the end of the day?
Olwethu, who's
yeah,
going first? You want to go first?
I think I'm going to go two things. One would be making sure or kind of researching the business model you want to use first and making sure that kind of research is good and set. And that has a lot of factors, whether it's, your profit velocity, whether your business has long-term sustainability, whether it requires a lot of upfront investment that you might not necessarily have, things like that. So checking those boxes and, sustainability and scalability and how soon you'll start making money, all those things. So that's one thing, is making sure that you have kind of a good grip on those. And two, honestly, it's to start. I feel like there's so many people with businesses that are living inside their heads. And you have these business ideas for years. And in the meantime, people are making money and creating, sustainable brands, and you're still, trying to scale a business you haven't even launched yet. So I would say start is probably the biggest thing. Start. It's not as hard as you think it is. And there are really great platforms that allow people, and you touched on this a couple of weeks ago, where there are platforms like Shopify and different, places that you don't really need to be super tech savvy. You might not even need a lot of upfront investment, and the risk factors might be, relative to low. So I would say start now, start today.
Love that. Jace, what would you like to add from that side?
I was going to also say just jump in. But to add to that, use the resources that you have. Instagram is an incredible resource in itself. There are so many amazing tips, tricks, pieces of advice on there. If you follow, there's business feeds to follow. There's people that do social media every single day and post tips every single day. You can follow Cleo and watch her lives every Tuesday. I mean, literally my goal since I started Epiphany was to learn one new thing every day. And I can't promise that I did that, but I really try every single day to learn one new thing, especially when it comes to my business. And it's so incredible because, when you start something, if you don't know everything, it means that you just have so much to learn, which is just the most valuable thing ever. And know that there's other people that have been through what you've been through, that have had the experience. I've started a new business. I have the experience. If you want advice, come and chat to me. Come and ask me questions. Go to anybody that's out there. People are a lot kinder than you think. And if they're not kind, the worst thing they can do is say is no. And then you can move on and go and ask somebody else. Use the resources around you. You'd be surprised at how amazing the local community, especially women community, is. And so all I say is jump in, get going, and don't be afraid. Don't let yourself hold you back. Be confident in your idea, and just kind of go for it. I just go and ask and chat, and you can hear I never stop talking. And like the worst thing that somebody can literally say is no, or I don't like you, or unfollow, and who really cares? You're not designed for everybody to like you anyway. So just go for it. And I promise you, you will get there. You will learn every single day, and you will learn from your experiences. And that's an amazing thing. That's the amazing thing about having your own business.
And honestly, if I can just add to that, you're not going to learn anything from a product that's living inside your brain. You honestly need to get it into the hands of the customer. That is the only time you can actually learn things and validate and experiment and even fail. And even if you fail, that there's learning in that. So honestly, just start, please, for our sake.
And it's super insightful. And like all three of us that are on this live today, we all started somewhere. We all had an idea and kind of fleshed it out. And here we are. So, I mean, like Miss Lee's saying, the ladies are hyping me. I feel ready now. 100%. And I mean, I'm happy to open up my DMs. I know both Olwethu and Jessa as well. Super helpful if you need any advice. Like, this is what I think Instagram, or never mind Instagram, but social media is about. Let's help each other grow our brands. You know, let's start more businesses, and 100% let's empower more women to do the same. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you a quick question, but it's a quick fire question, so don't worry. Of the brands that you guys are working with or that you've seen, I don't know, either on Instagram or wherever, who do you think, in your opinion, is kind of like the hot brand or the hot product at the moment from like local brands?
Do you want to start, Jess?
There's no way that I can answer that question. Hot for who? Hot for what? I think every brand, it's like kind of like your husband. He's perfect or not so perfect for you, but he's not going to be perfect for everyone. And I think that's how brands work. Like, I think that, you know, it's the same as your skincare products. Some skincare products work for me, some skincare products work for some other people and don't work for me. All the brands have their target audience. It's so important to know who your target audience is. It's so important to only worry about your target audience and only worry about making the people that actually love your product happy, and not worrying about everybody else and making everybody else happy. I love all my brands on the directory. I don't have a brand on my directory that I don't love, because if I don't love a brand, I don't let them onto the directory. Unfortunately, that's just the way that I am. I'm that passionate about what I do. So there's absolutely no way I can answer that question. I think every brand has its place. You cannot compare an activewear brand to a skincare brand, to an apparel brand, to an artist. You can't. How can you do that? They all have their place. They all have a special place in our life, and it's a special place from morning till evening to Saturday afternoon, whatever the case may be. I can't choose a brand. I'm sorry.
But you know what? I think that's the beauty of online marketplaces. You have all these different brands who have all these different target audiences. So really, it doesn't have to have be, you know, a specific community's favorite, because each of them might have different target. I mean, I'll have brands that sell to 18-year-old to 40-year-old women, and then I'll have a brand that is specifically geared towards 50-year-old women or men or things like that. So you really are catering to so many different target audiences, and that's why it's so important, I think, to sell and list through, you know, brand directories and e-commerce marketplaces, because you literally are exposed to so many different target audiences.
I love it. You guys are so genuine and like loyal to the brands that you support. I love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, that I think is all from my side, guys. I don't know if any closing remarks, you know, just on e-commerce the way forward, for South Africans, for women. Don't know if you want to drop one last gem, and yeah, we'll wrap it up from there.
I need to think. Off you go.
Oh my goodness, Jess. If anyone has a question, I mean, we can answer those. Yeah.
More than happy, guys. You're more than welcome to drop some questions that you have for the ladies in the chat bar.
Okay, I'll drop my gem. So a lot of the time we're on the back end of our business. We kind of behind the scenes, on the back end of our website, on the back end of our Instagram. We don't really view things as the consumer. And so it's really important to every now and then do a brand audit, or get somebody else who has experience to do a brand audit. And just get them to maybe go through your website, kind of see what's missing, what links should be there that aren't there, maybe a few pages where the SEO is not 100%. What often brands will do is when they do like a e-commerce website especially, they'll take like an earring and they'll copy that exact page to do the new earring. So like if it's a hoop, and then it'll say copy of hoop, and they'll put the new earring there, and then when they do the new necklace or whatever, it'll say copy of hoop. And now when people search for that on SEO, it's searching for hoop, but it's actually a necklace, or it's searching for copy of. And it's just little things like that that you don't actually see because you never go onto your website kind of from the other end. So that's something that I've actually started to do with brands, is sit down, have a look at their website, have a look at their Instagram, see it from the consumer's perspective and not just from your perspective. Because as a brand, it's so easy for us to sit there, have our little planoli, you know, have our later whatever, plan our posts. We don't actually know what people are seeing. People aren't even seeing it like that. They're seeing it kind of in a flow. Are they spending time on it? Are they liking it? What are our insights telling us? We really need to sit down and have a look and kind of gain insight from everything that social media and our websites and is telling us from a consumer perspective, and not just from a brand perspective, because there's so much information there, and that's only something I've learned in time. So yeah, I think that's really just an important thing to do, is to do a brand audit, to kind of switch places, switch seats, get somebody else to do it for you, even if it's your mom, your sister, your friend, really just to kind of fill in the gaps that you are missing.
To add on to that, speaking of branding, I think sometimes we look at ourselves as the middleman of these different businesses that you have on the platform. I would say really look at yourself more as a brand. Market yourself as a brand, create content as a brand, so that even if you're growing your business and starting to venture out into different products or different services, people are able to trust you better, and people are able to follow whatever you're doing, because they're viewing you as a brand and not just a place that can buy the earrings and this. So just making sure that you have, a great brand strategy from the beginning, and you audit that every now and again, and you are marketing yourself as a brand, because that's what you are. You're a business as your own capacity as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm just gonna. You mean like your personal, your face? You putting your face to your brand?
No, I mean as in your business. Your Shop Epiphany is a brand on its own. You could start selling something else as Shop Epiphany as an original product, and people would be more inclined to follow that because they associate you as a brand and not just a place they can find different products and different other brands other than who you are and what you stand for.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you, sorry, because I also picked it up like that. No.
I mean, personal branding is good as well. I mean, personal branding is a powerful tool as well. So I wouldn't say dismiss that either.
Just quickly jumping onto the questions here. Miss Lee's asking, what advice would you give for launch preparation? Are clothing brands profitable? And then Jess, I think the question's aimed at you, sorry. And then you mentioned owning a boutique at a point.
Yes, so I owned a boutique, which I think is quite similar to Lulibomarket is now, where I would kind of stock brands and then sell and do all the distribution, etc. Whereas Epiphany isn't like that anymore. I'm more of like a showcase or a marketing place. But I did own a boutique, and I sold everything from home apparel to jewelry. Clothing brands are definitely profitable. I think the most important thing with a clothing brand, though, is to really put your blinkers on and stay true to your style. It's so easy to get caught up in what other people are doing, and to look at other brands and think that they're so successful, and maybe you should do that and do this. But you really need to build your niche market. An amazing person to look at is Lucia Official. She does really beautiful feminine styles. Everything she does is super feminine, floral, frilly. It's not to everyone's taste, but it is what she does, and she does it so well. And she has her niche market who support her time and time again. And what she does is she just puts her little style blinkers on, and she does what she loves, what she knows. And I think that's so important with the clothing brand, is to actually not get distracted by the noise, not get distracted by what's going on in the bigger companies, what's going on in other local brands. Really do what you love and what you believe in. And I think your product will sell, because anything that you believe in, you can sell authentically. And then just secondly, you asked about in preparation of the launch. Don't do what I did. I launched my boutique on Black Friday. Originally, don't do that. But you know, these launches, it's such a big thing for us as a brand to do this huge launch, and it's so exciting, and our friends are excited, and our family are excited, and it's such a big when it actually happens, because we have all of 200 followers on Instagram, and you know, you expect that you're going to get all these sales on launch day, and that is not what it is about. Yeah. When you launch your brand, you literally are launching into the universe of social media. I would highly suggest joining a platform like Lulibomarket or Epiphany that can assist with getting your launch out there to you know, their audience. They already have an audience. We already have an audience. We already have a mailing list. We already have an audience on Instagram. So we can share your launch on our pages. That will firstly increase the kind of following that you'll get from your posts. But secondly, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your brand really is, if you want it to be successful and you want it to have longevity, then you want to build it slowly over time. And you're not going to have 1 million sales on launch day. Unfortunately, that's the reality, and it's better not to expect it. Rather just, you know, put it out there, get in touch with people that can help you to push your brand out to the right audiences, do some targeted ads on Instagram to very specific people. If you target female, if you target age 25 to 35, if you target South Africans, if you target, you know, be specific with your targeting on Instagram, do some targeted ads for your launch. I would do that. And then, yeah, just don't expect the world. Great things come with time. And, you know, I started that boutique. I ran that boutique. It didn't work out for me. And then I did the Epiphany directory, and it's been an incredible journey. Not everything you do is going to be 100% successful, but what it is a learning curve. And so just go in, do everything as well as you can. And I promise you'll get something out of it, even if it's not what you're expecting to get.
No, and that's actually like your last part that you mentioned there. And it's so true, because I know with Coco as well, for example, I know that was like my first e-commerce brand that I started. And that was, I almost want to say, how do I put it? I played around with that for the longest time until I eventually found, you know, the products that actually stuck. And I remember one of my coaches mentioning, you know, the 80-20 principle, that 20% of your products are going to generate 80% of your sales. And that took me a couple of months to eventually whittle down to the products that actually made sense for my customers, essentially, and my following. So yeah, so for those of you that are still wanting to try, I mean, I started with a pajama line, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with that. And then it was kimonos, and you know, so we went on until eventually we ended up with hemp. So yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's all, you just learn new things, and it's okay to change your mind as well. Right. Don't feel bad to change your mind. Don't feel bad to change your branding. We all feel like we've got this huge limelight on us because we're on Instagram and that everybody's watching. But I can promise you right now, everybody is far too interested in themselves to give a damn. And that's just the way that it is. So don't feel pride. Don't feel the pride. Don't feel like you're letting people down. Don't feel like you're letting yourself down. It's okay for things to happen, for things to change. Change your mind. It's totally allowed. It's your life. If things are not making you happy, change your mind. Change your avenue. You know, I have people come onto the directory and I can see it's not working for them, or I can see it's not really working for me, or I can see that they're not really into their brand. They're not posting on Instagram. I'll contact them. I'll say, what's going on? Is your heart not in this? No. I can tell that they haven't posted for a month. I can tell that their heart's not in it, that they've gone back to their full-time job. They're not in lockdown anymore, for example. Mm-hmm. And I just say to them, it's okay. Like, you don't have to stay on the directory. No one's holding you down. I'm a person, you're a person, it's okay. You don't have to do this brand if you don't want to do it anymore. No one's you're not letting anybody down. Stop feeling like you're letting people down. The only person you're letting down is yourself if you carry on doing something that you don't want to do. So that's it. Try and learn something new every day. It's okay to change your mind, and you know, just use your resources. I think those are the three key things as an entrepreneur.
No, and that's so well said. Thank you guys. Always, I don't know if you have any more closing remarks for us.
No, I mean, I agree. My launch date, actually, I had to push it back twice after announcing it on Instagram. And I remember feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm disappointing so many people, and so many people are watching me. And the truth is, when I eventually launched, the people were still there. And the people that were interested in buying were still buying. And the work really starts after. Honestly, the work that you put into to launch, that's like 1%. The work is going to start after. The learning starts after. You think that, you know, failing at launching twice is the big failure. No, there's still going to be a lot of different things that you're going to go through, and you just need to show yourself some grace. Honestly, you really just need to show yourself some grace.
Absolutely.
That is the key word, grace. Yeah.
Mm.
It's something we all need to practice in business. Doesn't matter if you're there for a year or 10 years, practice some grace. Because at some point things are going to pivot, things will change. You might have to start over again. And it's all part of the journey, guys. So for those of you that have joined, yeah, and it's okay, 100%. I think we mentioned it in your talk a couple of weeks back. Like, pride and ego will really like shove you into a corner. So please set yourself free, guys. It's really not worth it. Enjoy the journey. It is genuinely something to be enjoyed. Yeah, and learn as much as you can. I hope you guys are also getting a lot of, you know, I want to say little tips and tricks from all these lives, because it's really such a great space to be in right now. And almost want to say it's actually the perfect time to launch a store. You know, you've got time to work on your kinks, you know, find your niche and kind of whittle that down and just, you know, start getting into a smooth streamline eventually. And again, you've got two great platforms here that are actually able to help you start if you don't want to start your own website. So yeah, do contact them. I will pop them in the caption below. But ladies, thank you so much for your time this evening. This was so insightful. I mean, I'm actually glad I didn't have to speak that much for once, because you guys just like took over. And I know you laughing and saying, oh no, I'm so sorry. No, please do more of that. So very insightful. Thank you so much, you guys. And guys, these people are super successful. So please do check out their pages, support them, and support the brands that are on the page, obviously, and shop local. Yay. Thank you, ladies, so much. I really appreciate it. And we'll check it again soon.
Thank you so much for having us. Bye.
Bye, Olwethu.
Bye, Jess.